Today on the program, Renault unveils a revolutionary V6 engine with 550 horsepower, and Ford announces the Mustang Dark Horse SC with an 800 horsepower V8. The upcoming Fiat Koala has been spotted for the first time, and it will be cheaper than a Twingo. And finally, the price of Ferrari's first electric car might surprise you. Sit tight, because here comes a miracle, an industrial miracle. You thought the combustion engine was dead, buried under a mountain of charging cables and moralizing speeches? But think again. Renault has just pulled a V6 out of its hat, and not just any V6. Imagine for a moment it's 2026 and all of Europe swears only by kilowatt hours and electrical outlets. And then an entity called Horse Powertrain, a joint venture between Renault, the Chinese giant Geely, and the Saudi oil giant Aramco, shows up at the Beijing Motor Show with a brand new combustion engine, its nickname, the W30. And it's not a lawnmower engine, it's a 3-liter twin-turbo V6. And hold on tight, it weighs only 160 kg. This little gem puts out up to 544 horsepower with 800 Nm of torque, and it easily revs up to 8,000 RPM. But be careful, we're in a time when you can't just burn fuel for the pleasure of sound and speed anymore. You have to be responsible. So this W30 is designed to be a hybrid, and not just a little bit. It's meant to work in tandem with 2 electric motors, one with 340 to 408 horsepower, the other with 476 to 612 horsepower. And you get an absurdly complicated setup capable of turning any chassis into a surface-to-surface missile. The combined power is still unknown, but we can expect figures that would outshine an Italian supercar. So the big question is, in which car will we get to hear this V6 roar? Don't get your hopes up. The chances of seeing this engine under the hood of a production Renault are close to absolute zero. Horse Powertrain is here to sell its engines to others. Geely could use it for its premium brands like Lotus or Polestar, and Mercedes, which already has ties with Geely, might also be interested. The only glimmer of hope for French car enthusiasts is Alpine. The Dieppe-based brand is working on its hypercar, the Alpine Glow, which has already been showcased with a hydrogen-powered V6. Could this W30 be the missing piece of the puzzle for a 1,000 horsepower hybrid version? Only time will tell. While we wait for this W30, which is planned for 2028, that's a long way off and a lot can change by then. But one thing is certain, the internal combustion engine hasn't said its last word yet, and for once we can thank Renault for putting a little fuel in the dream machine. Lately, the world of muscle cars has felt like a deserted saloon. And then, in the midst of this deafening silence, someone at Ford decided to kick the door wide open. Here is the Ford Mustang Dark Horse SC. And let me tell you, SC doesn't stand for super calm, it stands for supercharge. Supercharge stuffed with air to the point of indigestion. While Europe is counting its grams of CO2 like a depressed accountant, Ford brings us a 5.2-liter V8 from the Predator family, pumping out a whopping 795 horsepower. That's only 20 horsepower less than the insane Mustang GTD, which costs as much as a house with a pool in Hauts-de-Seine. But here we're talking about a car that starts at just over 100,000 euros. It's almost the deal of the century, considering that for this price, you get the power of a small power plant and a soundtrack worthy of a World War II bomber. The idea behind this car is one of typically American pragmatism. You take the Dark Horse standard, which is already an excellent machine for making a very quick grocery run, and you give it the lungs of the GTD, which is basically a race car that escaped from the track. The result is a perfect bridge, a car capable of ripping your face off on the track on Sunday and bringing you back home on Monday without breaking your spine. Of course, at this level of power, physics is no joke anymore. Ford had to go back to the drawing board. The hood is made of aluminum with a carbon fiber vent that generates 2.5 times more downforce than the standard version. If you want to embarrass Porsche 911S on weekends, try the Track Pack. For about $140,000, you get Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 R tires, carbon ceramic brakes, and they even remove the rear bench seat. Because anyway, with 795 horsepower, your rear passengers would end up as mush. Compared to a Porsche 911 Carrera or a Corvette Z06, this Mustang is a dinosaur. It doesn't have German finesse nor the sophistication of a mid-engine, but it has something much rarer today: character and unapologetic brutality. The bad news in Europe is that you can probably forget about it. Between our taxes, our environmental penalties, and our noise regulations dictated by people who don't like noise, the chances of seeing this beast officially arrive here are slim. Then, there are two types of leaks in the automotive industry: those orchestrated by press officers craving attention, and then there are the others, where someone, somewhere, simply forgot to do their job. That's exactly what just happened in the parking lot of the Stellantis factory in Kenitra, Morocco. Someone left the future Fiat fastback SUV lying around without even a bit of psychedelic tape to hide it. And most importantly, information leaked about its price, and it could really shake up the market completely. So here is the Fiat Koala, or Grizzly, or Fastback, no matter what they'll call it, at the Paris Motor Show in October 2026. What matters is what we see, and what we see is pretty interesting. This new model takes the styling cues from the recent Grande Panda, but stretches them over 4.40 meters. It's a coupe SUV, that kind of body style invented by the Germans to make you pay more for a car that offers less space in the back, except here, Fiat has decided to play a very different tune. From the side, the sloping roofline is undeniable. The sides are sharply sculpted with square wheel arches protected by big black plastic cladding, just to make it clear that you could, in theory, climb a curb. At the back, a black strip connects the taillights under a small spoiler. It's modern, it's geometric, and to be completely honest, it looks pretty good. Inside, there's a compact digital instrument cluster and a large central screen, while still keeping a few physical buttons below. Under the hood, you'll find the smart car platform, probably with the well-known 1.2-liter three-cylinder mild hybrid engine, producing 145 horsepower, paired with a dual-clutch transmission. And, of course, a fully electric version promising around 400 kilometers of range. But here's the real bombshell. Fiat reportedly plans to offer this coupe SUV at a starting price below 20,000 euros. If Fiat really manages to keep this price promise, they're not just going to democratize the coupe SUV, they're literally going to rob the market blind. So, whether it's an accidental leak or clever marketing, it doesn't matter. What's clear is the Fiat Koala, or whatever it'll be called, has sparked our curiosity. We'll of course keep you updated, so don't forget to subscribe. And finally, the world has gone completely crazy. Ferrari has decided that now is the perfect time to launch its very first 100% electric car. Its name is the Luce, and it's going to be expensive, extremely expensive. According to very well-informed sources, the starting price of this silent marvel should be around 550,000 euros. To put things in perspective, that's 200,000 euros more expensive than the sublime 12 Cilindri. And this Luce will be positioned as the second most expensive production model in the entire Ferrari lineup, just behind the F80 hypercar. And don't forget that this price could still fluctuate by 10% before its official unveiling next month. But the real question is, why? Why would a Ferrari customer, used to the mechanical opera of a V12 screaming at 9,000 RPM, spend a fortune on a car that sounds like a refrigerator in defrost mode? Especially when you know that for 400,000 euros, you can get the Puro Sangue, an SUV with 4 real seats, a trunk, and above all, a glorious combustion engine that gives you chills every time you accelerate. So, what does Ferrari give you for 550,000 euros? Well, you'll get 4 electric motors delivering a combined power of over 986 horsepower. To power all that, there's a huge 122 kW battery integrated into the floor, capable of handling ultra-fast charging at 350 km/h. The claimed range is about 530 kilometers. It's impressive on paper, but is it enough to justify such a price? Obviously, loyal customers of Maranello aren't exactly the type to check the price of pasta at the supermarket. For them, 550,000 euros is pocket change. They'll buy the Luce simply because there's a prancing horse on the hood and because it will be one of the most expensive and exclusive electric cars on the planet. But for everyone else, this Ferrari Luce looks like an extremely risky gamble. Selling an overpriced electric car to customers who worship the sound and smell of gasoline might work, but it's going to take a lot of persuasion. See you next month to find out if the magic works. A quick reminder before we finish, your car insurance might be costing you too much. And what's surprising is that more than 1 out of 2 drivers never compare, even though you could save up to 480 euros a year with our free comparison tool. It only takes 2 minutes to find the best deals. It's obviously free and with no obligation, and you could save up to 40 euros a month. So try our car insurance comparison tool. The link is in the description or in the pinned comment. Thank you all for watching this new video. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything. Bye.